What's up, everyone? Welcome to Touhou 16 Hidden Star in 4 Seasons, otherwise known as Tenkusho or Sisyphus or Syphilis. Actually, I don't think anyone calls it that. So, this is the latest game in the series, as you can see by copyright 2017 there at the bottom, and we're still in version 1.00a. I'm not sure if Zuna's going to patch this game or not, but, so, yeah. It feels weird to let's play this game, admittedly, because of how much I've actually shown it on my channel. Like, I've done, like, theory videos, I've done the broken video, I've done the perfect stages, the Len'ens, the streams, all that. But I figured I might as well still let's play it, because if we're gonna go for the Peace 98 games, we should at least finish all the main Windows games first. So, I do want to LP this. So, what should I talk about first? First, I can introduce our characters, Reimu, Marissa, and newcomers, Aya and Cherno. With a tan, as specified by Zune. Jesus. So, you might be wondering, why does it say spring, winter, fall, summer? Why does it say that? Because this game is based on the seasons, if you couldn't tell by the title of the game, Hidden Star in 4 Seasons. Every character has been assigned a season. Reimu is spring. Cherno is summer. For some reason, she's not winter. I don't know. Ask soon. Aya is autumn or fall, and Marissa is winter. However, there are no A and B shots. There are sub-shots. And each sub-shot corresponds to the seasons. And by choosing a sub-shot, you're borrowing shots from another character. For example, if I were to go as Reimu Winter, I would be borrowing Marissa's lasers. If I were to play as Marissa Fall, I'd be borrowing some shots from Aya. So, yeah, the game plays very differently depending on the seasons that you use, because each season has its own unique release. And I will talk about the release when we actually play the game itself. So yeah, I'm going to be playing as Marissa actually, that's what I had planned, and I decided to play as the fall season because if you're going to show off releases, you got to show the broken one. And I'm still doing no bomb. It's going to be like 10 Desires in UFO, where I just go through the game by using the mechanic that you're given, but not bombing. Because I still feel like not using releases in a Let's Play is kind of weird, because, you know, if you're doing a Let's Play, you want to show the actual mechanic of the game. I might do another episode where I NBNR, though I think that's redundant considering I have the LNN video already, but I might if people really want me to, but I think I've done enough LNBNR streams to kind of showcase how I do the stuff without using releases, so why don't we hop right in. And apparently Marissa's lasers are freezing, and you can even see snowflakes. So, when you graze, you will spawn these seasonal items that correspond to whichever season you chose. So as I chose autumn, you can see I'm getting these little cute autumn fall leaves that are falling. And when I collect them, I will fill this gauge at the bottom left. You can also spawn these items by clearing out boss attacks, and also by using this thing called the release. Whenever your gauge gets at least 1 bar full, you can use this thing called the release. What the release does is dependent on the season you chose. I won't talk about the other season's releases, at least not now, but I will show them at a later episode, maybe on the extra episode. But for the fall release, when you press C, you will get this circle around you and you'll move faster and you'll clear out all the bullets that are inside the circle. However, you do not actually become invincible, so you can still die if you hit the hitbox of a boss or an enemy. Keep that in mind. So as you can see, by using a release, I got more release items, which allowed me to kind of chain releases, and that essentially renders this entire season broken. Although all the seasons are broken to some degree. So yeah, we got a really broken mechanic this time around. It's not all bad though, I do like messing around with the releases. So how do you get extends in this game? You get them from score. Yeah, they're just plain old score extends. And you will likely want to use releases on attacks that give a lot of bullets, because your PIV will increase only with releases. You will not increase your PIV by grazing. or bullet cancels, only by using releases. So it's funny how no release runs always end up with just default PIV the entire game and score really low. However, this game can score up to like 7 billion, which is pretty hilarious how an Len'en EE scores like 200 mil and a score run scores like 7 billion. Oh, right. Let's talk about Eternity, who is actually misspelled as Eternity in the demo. And it's kind of funny because there's people that are always going to call her Eternity. So she's a butterfly yokai, but she doesn't actually have butterfly bullets. So it's really weird, and I don't know why Zune did that. I don't really have anything notable to say to her fight other than for this non you can sort of stream it because the red things are aimed. And then on the last spell, the jelly beans are also aimed at you, so keep that in mind as well. Did I ever say that the more release gauges you fill up, the more sub-shots you get? I don't think I said that, but as you can see, I've got 5 releases, so I've got 5 IS sub-shots. You can have up to 6. Oh, and by the way, when you do use your release, it kills your entire gauge, whether you've used a level 3, a level 4, level 1, level 6. Doesn't matter. Your gauge will always go back to 0. But your release will be more powerful if you have more charge. And you'll also have a larger cooldown. And be really mindful that, especially with the spring one, not the spring one, the autumn one. The autumn one, if you use really high level autumn releases, you're going to have a huge cooldown and you could die. So be careful. So, stage 2. I'm going to go ahead and release here to trivialize it. Tried to kill the big yellow arrowhead enemies with my release to make things easier on me. A lot of this stage is just streaming, though. Most specifically, it's basically just like the LOL case stage 2 streaming. So, yeah, not much interest around here. Do note that these 2 enemies will come from that part of the screen, so it is possible for them to ram you, but if you know they're coming, you should be safe. I went ahead and killed them with the release, because why not? I'll use my release to kill this thing. Releases are pretty useful. By the way, let me point out that with Marissa's lasers, you're not always going to do full damage if you're bottom hugging, because the way that lasers angle basically makes it so that you're basically going to have to be a little higher on the screen to optimize damage. Though this doesn't apply to the final boss, it only applies to the other bosses. I don't know if there's any enemies that can be damaged fully with Marissa's laser, because it would depend on how big their hitbox is, but I can say that for bosses, do make sure you're moving up on the screen frequently in order to maximize damage. Though don't feel like you need to pressure yourself, because you do want to be mindful of the possibility of death. Now for the most amazing and awe-inspiring non-spells I have ever seen in a Touhou game. I seriously don't know how Zune does it. Okay, that was really mean, but seriously, what is this? It's just an aimed stream of bullets, and it doesn't ever end, so if you're not a homing shot, unless you want to do the risky restreams, you're just going to time it out. For this non, though, it does end after a while, so you don't really have to worry, though you're probably still going to time it out if you're not Reimu. I really don't know what Zune was thinking when he made these non-spells. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's just aimed stream bullets. Oh well. So this is Nemu no Sakata. She's a Yama Uba, and she has no real relation to the plot, but she's just there just to be there. I mean, that's usually what the stage 1 and 2 bosses are, just kind of irrelevant. So our first spell, a lot of people seem to struggle with this spell. I don't really know how best to do it other than just sight read it. I mean, I would say try to go as high as you can at all times, but really, whenever I try to aggressively move really high up the screen, I end up killing myself, so bottom hugging might be the best way to do that, to be honest, but I don't know. I could use releases, but I'm afraid of the cooldown, and I don't want to die from a cooldown, so I'd rather just play it safe. Alright, cool trick for this part. You can use your release to clear out these bullets if you want. 2, 3, meow. Dun, 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 meow. Yeah, just something you can do. It's good for getting PIV. Alright, now the last spell is an awesome spell because it encourages not bottom hugging. It's a spell that actually makes you be aggressive and move up on the screen, which I love it when Zune does stuff like this. I'll go ahead and release to get out of that weird situation I got myself into. Probably didn't need to, but hey, you know, I'm playing it safe here. Want to conserve all my lives because, well, actually, I mean, you do get a lot of extends in this game, so, I mean, there's that. And if you're playing with releases, you're likely to get more extends than no release play because, well, obviously you're going to get more PIV. Though my PIV isn't really that good because I haven't been that good about getting it. I've just been kind of fooling around with the releases. I don't really know the optimal routes for getting PIV in this game simply because I never really played with releases that much. So apologies if this isn't the best explanation on how to use releases, but I'm doing what I can. So as you've noticed so far, the stages have been changing seasons. Like, on stage 1, we were like in summer, and then in stage 2, we were like in this fall yokai mountain, and now we're in stage 3 and it's spring? And we're at the Hakurei Shrine too. So yeah, this game's plot is based on the seasons. If you couldn't tell, obviously it's in the game title. So basically, the seasons are different depending on your location. There's like multiple seasons going on at the same time in Gensokyo. Obviously, that means there's an incident. So that's why our heroines are investigating. Oh my god, that could have killed me. Lily White is back, and you can completely kind of cheese her non by using releases, so you don't have to dodge those scary blue waves. Her spell card doesn't have a spell portrait. And I don't know why. Zune didn't want to give her a portrait for some reason, and it really makes no sense to me. But yeah, honestly, poor Lily White. She deserves better. For this part, I like to use this little safe spot, though it's not really recommended if you're not Reimu, because you can't kill that enemy in time, so you'll end up having a weird situation like that. In fact, I had to release there to save my life, so actually don't do that if you're not Reimu. Don't do that if you're not Reimu. The last part of the stage is completely pointless as it's just one stream of blue bullets, but you can graze these and get some releases back from it, so that's pretty nice. Okay, let's go ahead and fight our boss, who apparently already knows who Marissa is. She is based on those like little shisa things that are at like Japanese shrines and temples, and so first nod might seem scary, but you actually want to be bottom hugging. You don't want to move too far from the center because these bullets are aimed at you, so although it seems scary to have them spawn in your face, you can just move in a nice left-right stream. So remember, don't go too far from the center or you're going to have to deal with really weird gaps in walls. The first spell is only annoying if you're not playing as a homing shot because it lasts forever. It's not particularly difficult because these things are aimed, but yeah, you might have a bit of trouble if you're not a homing shot because it's going to last forever, and I figured I might as well just damage kill it there because I don't want to spend 10 million years on it. The second non can be done with a repetitive motion, which entails going around this yellow wave here and then going back to the left. It's memo, it's not actually a random non, and once you've learned that, you can learn the layers and learn how to dodge it. And I have a video showcasing how to do this actually on my channel. The Curvy Laser spell is about minimal movement, although sometimes you might get a wall, which happens very, very rarely, but can still happen enough. Like, wow, it actually happened right there. I got the weird wave, and I actually had to use my release. Well, case in point. It doesn't usually happen though, so usually you can get away with not moving that much, but as you can see there, I used a release to get out of that bad situation, but it's okay because I had the release and it saved my life. The last non, not much to say about it. I can say a lot about this spell though, which is don't damage the real Aoun first. Kill the clone off before going to kill off the real Aoun, because that's how this spell works. You should not have to dodge 2 cycles of this unless you're a really pathetically weak shot type, which Marissa is not. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this off right here, and that is it for stage 3. Let me take a sip of iced tea before we continue. Yes, you lost Aoun. Way to point out the obvious. Alright. Stage 4. You can start this stage in the top left corner. Keep in mind, you'll have to do your streaming slowly because enemies can spawn on you if you stream too fast. However, the enemy spawn points are static and memorizable, so you shouldn't have to worry about any surprises if you know how fast to move. Use a release right here if you get walled off. I never really ever get walled there, but it is a possibility, so be careful. Now get yourself to the top left corner, and on the second wave of these, count to 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Misdirect. And then you don't need to do any more counting after this, because this section will not transform into a fifth wave. So you'll be safe if you just do that. Get yourself on the left of the screen for these enemies here. They start from right, left, and then you'll need to go back to the right again, because that's how this section works. Back to the right. I didn't kill one of these, but it should be okay, because it's only one that lived. Okay, I don't like how that thing is spawning in my face. I actually will use my release there, just to be safe. Alright, our mid-boss. So this is a completely static non-spell. However, do note that the balls that she fires are aimed away from you, which is a little weird. But the way you do it is first go to the right and then go to the left. And if you move the same way every time, there should be no surprises. I'm just going to go ahead and use my release because I don't want to time it out. This is my favorite part in this stage, honestly. It's really beautiful. You can cheese this with the releases, but I'm not going to. I don't want to cheese it. I had to use releases at the end there, though, because I was getting in a pretty tight situation. Now, this part is annoying. Do feel free to spam releases. It's all about which enemies you kill, and honestly, I think my Len'en EE showcases how to do this far more effectively than I can probably showcase here. Also, I'm playing as Marissa, so I'm likely to die, so I'm just going to go ahead and release spam, although it is a bit unethical to do that, and if I do that, I'm also not really going to be showing this part off too well, but honestly, I don't care. I'd rather focus on life than risk dying, so yes, I'm just going to release spam. Alright, so why don't we go ahead and fight our stage 4 boss, who is a really awesome boss fight, honestly. I would safe spot her non, but I'm not Reimu, so I don't have homing, so I'd rather not do so. But there is a safe, actually you might as well use it. So if you want to position your safe spot, get your hitbox to around here. Use the left edge of here to kind of position yourself. So, yeah. I'm just doing this to graze. This is a very effective way to get your releases back. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the bottom and finish her off. I wasn't planning on killing it with the safe spot. I just wanted to get my releases back. Do make use of that safe spot. It's really easy to pull off, and it's a really good way to get back your releases, which you'll need. Now, this spell here can also be safe spotted. I did it in my Len'en EE if you want to see it. I'm not doing it here, but I probably should have because I had to use the release to get out of the death there. This second non is hard to explain. All I can say is try to go over the purple waves when I can't talk. Screw me. Alright, this spell is annoying. Sorry, I didn't want to talk because I really wanted to focus on my dodging. But I hope I demonstrated how to do it without words effectively. I used the release there in order to, you know, not die. Now this last non-spell can last a really long time, but don't rush it. Do not try to kill this as soon as possible. Just wait it out. It'll be fine. It's a continuous stream of bullets. And now for the last spell, you have to dodge these waves on the side, and try not to go too high up, because the higher you are on the screen, the easier it is to die. As you can see, I still have a release, which I will use if I get into a bad situation. I'll go ahead and clear off the bullets on the bottom, and I'll go ahead and finish this off, and that is how you do stage 4. Alrighty, still haven't died yet. That's good. I really doubt I'm gonna no-miss, no-bomb this because the final spell card of the game will likely kill me. Though I'll probably die to the stage 5 bosses, admittedly. Okay, so I don't really know how to do stage 5 as Marissa, so this is gonna be sloppy as hell, but I can tell you that on the very first wave of this part, you'll want to do some pacifisting. The reason for that is because these enemies are annoying, they're jerks, and I've lost many runs to them. Well, actually not that many, but I've lost LNNs to it before, and I got so fed up I learned a cheese strat for it by pacifisting. Now this part is really stupid as Marissa, because there's no way you're gonna kill these fast, so you're gonna have to end up just using releases and stuff. I know Amana has a 1 miss no bomb with Marissa Fall, so he probably has a good strat for this stage, but I'm not Amana, so I couldn't tell you how to do it. I've already screwed this part up, haven't I? I don't know how to do this. I do, but I don't have all the releases for it. I need a full release gauge to show how to do that part effectively. But I can tell you that for this laser part, you don't want to be here. Oh, I pressed C, but not in time. I'm salty. Allow me some seconds to get over the salt. For that mid-boss, by the way, you might have noticed that I was streaming downwards with it. There's a safe height that you can use to stream with it, which I made use of there. You actually want to try to time out the mid-boss, which I didn't do for some reason. This part here is all about memorizing the spawn points of these enemies. They have the whole super guard thing, so you're not going to be able to kill them instantly, which is rather obnoxious, but that's just how it is. Okay, so the final part of the stage is kind of annoying, and I doubt I can really showcase how to do it well with only one sub shot, but I'll try my best. It's all about memorizing the spawn points of these enemies here and killing them. If these enemies live, then you're pretty much screwed because they will wall you. That's just how it works. You can use releases to get out of bad situations, though, as I've shown there. A lot easier with Reimu, honestly. With Reimu, there's a nice cheese strat you can use. Alright, now for the infamous Touhou and Mai. You might notice we're in this really creepy world full of doors. So Touhou and Mai are a double boss fight, and basically you're in for hell. The first non is really easy though, you can memorize it. Just do what I do right now. Do what I'm doing. And it'll be free. You want to be on the right side of the screen because, in my opinion, fighting Mai is a lot better than fighting Touhou for the first spell card. Although Touhou's spell isn't that hard, I'd rather do Mai. Now, this non-spell is really stupid and annoying. So, the reason it's annoying is that although it's theoretically like the waves themselves are static, but they really depend on the movement of the boss themselves, how the waves will actually turn out. So just kind of do what I did there, where I did that whole restream back to the right to damage the boss a bit more. I did extra damage on the boss, which allowed me to finish off the attack at a decent time. There is a certain transition between the purple and the green waves that will likely kill you a lot of the times, though, so watch out for that. Behind you is a very simple streaming spell. It doesn't really belong on a stage 5, but don't complain, because it is a breather. The last non-spell is the easiest non-spell they have. You just want to get into the green waves first and then stay in, move with the green gaps and then look at the purple waves and see where the purple gaps are going to be. But never try to dodge them both at the same time. Behind Festival is really stupid, and the best way to do it is by doing streaming, but it's really confusing and there's a lot going on. And Touhou and Mai never die, which is really annoying, and I'm just going to release the hell out of it because I don't care. The last spell I'm quite fond of, though. This is my favorite attack in the Touhou and Mai fight because I find it fun even if it's a pretty luck-based attack. The luck comes in the fact that if the lasers spawn... that was bullshit. And you know it, game. But the lasers, they have big hitboxes, they last forever, and if they spawn in the middle of each other, then you're not going to get gaps. And as you can see there, you can also die. RIP! I don't even care. So for the start of stage 6, you'll want to do some pacifisting on the first wave, but on the second wave, go ahead and shoot, and then stream to the right. This is the most efficient and safest way that I've found to do it. Actually, as Marissa, you could probably do 2 spins, but I don't really know how to do that because I never practiced 2 spins. And I always died when I did it. Now for a cute little spam section that's only hard if you're practice mode and don't have that many sub shots. Though I'd imagine this part would be hell with weak shots like Cherno Spring, so yeah. But if you have Autumn sub shots with you or a 6-powered laser, you're not going to have problems with this spam. You're most likely just going to die to it in practice. Now these fairies are basically copied from the LOL-K extra fairies, except the one difference is the fact that they don't have jelly beans, but instead they have needles. But I swear, they're the same things. Might be a little denser, I guess, because it's Lunatic, but it's the same thing. Hopefully I get 6 releases. Nope, I didn't. Oh well. Now for our final boss. So I would get into the plot of this game, but it's this really weird plot about back doors and doors on people's backs, and Sotono and Mai being servants of Okina while she's quote-unquote looking for new servants. They'll actually just wanted to make herself known, and there's, again, doors on people's backs that transport them to worlds, and it's really weird and creepy and makes weird sense, and I'm not going to get into it. I'm your gameplay guy, not your lore guy. So for the non-spell, the first one, you want to try to dodge central. Dodge on the left or the right of the blue kunais every time if you can, because it's always the safest way to do it. For Halo, you want to ideally hope that she goes to the left, but if she goes to the right, it's not too big a deal. Just know that there's going to be lasers coming from below you, and keep that in mind, and dodge. For Marissa, I said before that you don't have to stay high on the screen for the final boss as Marissa, and that's because Okina's hitbox is big enough to get hit with all of Marissa's lasers. And in fact, Marissa Fall is the best shot type to do Okina with, because Marissa Fall has a lot of damage on Okina. I hate this spell, and anyone who's watched my Len'en EE streams knows I hate it. It's really stupid, it's really lucky, and it's a casino spell. However, as Marissa Fall, it always dies in one wave, so it's really not that bad as her. But if you're playing as a weaker shot type, then just, ugh. Just, ugh. Hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Third non is just weird, but memorize it, I guess. Third spell is streaming, but the streaming doesn't start until after the second wave of the rising bullets. As soon as you dodge your second wave, be prepared to stream across the screen. It might be annoying because you might consider that you wouldn't be able to damage a lot, but don't worry, you'll do enough damage on this unless you're a really weak shot type, and then, well, that sucks to be you. You chose a weak shot type. This is not the last non. The penultimate non is sometimes streaming and sometimes left-right. It depends on how she actually spawns her waves. Now, Snowman is a brutal spell card, and I can't talk right now because I have to focus. Fuck you. It's an Len'en EE killer. Killed 2 of my runs, killed 2 of Yatz's runs. This spring non can be done by starting from the right and streaming to the left and then going from left to right, but I decided not to do that because after dying to Snowman, I didn't care if I die again on Okina. I wanted to Miss Snow Bomb her, but it looks like that ain't happening. The safest way to do this spell is always to move up and not stay in the middle, because if you stay in the middle, you're gambling on luck, but if you move a lot, then you're likely going to be safe. You can also cheese it with your releases, but I've chosen not to use releases on Okina because I kind of like doing her fight without release spams. Now for the final spell in the game, it's going to change depending on what release shot you chose. I chose Fall, so I'm going to get this Fall final, which is hated by a lot of people, but I I used to like this spell, but not anymore. It's kind of annoying. It's one of those spells that can theoretically be 100% static if you were to do it the same way every time and kill the boss on the same time frame every time, but no one is going to do that much of a detailed memorization because that would require memorizing an entire 60-second spell card, memorizing every single dodge you make, every single damage you do, which can vary depending on your movements. So the best bet is just to kind of have an idea of where the gaps are going to be, which is usually on the left and the right. Like right now I'd want to go to the right, and then the next wave I want to go to the left, etc. Like right now I'm going to want to go to the left, then I'm going to want to go to the right after I'm done with this wave here. So it's a lot of alternating between left-rights. Yeah. Wow, oh, screw you, game! Screw you! Ah, well, I wanted to showcase a full capture, though. Ending. So that is the most recent Touhou game in the series. 16th edition. What do I think about this game? I like it. I know it's broken, but I like it. There's something special about it. Something unique about it. Zune, I hurt my back while playing with my son. What? Like, the patterns are a lot better than Lulk in my opinion because they're not as bullshit outside of a few Okina attacks and behind Festival. So the game is a lot more approachable and it's a lot more fast paced than Lulk 2. The game is only like 25 minutes long, so I really like it. Pass. You will be a suitable subordinate, says Okina. Lunatic mode cleared. I wonder if you get any special things for beating Lunatic no miss. I never checked that. Apparently I am a perfect player for beating Lunatic. Okay, Zune. And there you go. That was Lunatic. So next time we're going to be playing the extra stage, the 5th season. How foreboding. And I'll also probably, before I do extra, like in the next episode, I'll probably run through practice and just kind of showcase the other shots and seasons, because, I mean, it would be interesting to kind of showcase... Actually, I could just do that now. I'll do that now. Why not? Alright, so what is the spring release? Let's go ahead and show it off. I just want to show the releases off real quick. Okay, so the spring release is, let me charge it a little more. Bam! It's a circle that increases in radius depending on how much charge you have. The spring shut is Churno's needles that go diagonal, and they're really weak and pitiful and only help in a few stage sections and have no real use. I'm so mean. The way these work, though, is that you only lose one option every time you release. So basically, you can tank a bunch of hits by spamming them. That's basically their purpose. You can also get releases back from the items that you'll inevitably spawn from them, so it is broken in a way. It's very good for first clears, actually. The final release, which I failed to demonstrate because I accidentally pressed Z instead of X, is the winter release. The winter subshot's my personal favorite because the laser's pretty awesome and powerful. So the winter one is like the summer one, except it's the same graphic, but you lose all your charge on release instead of just one, but it's very strong and it grows bigger depending on how much release you have, so it's really strong. It's pretty good. And those are all of your releases. Alright, see you guys next time.